Hello and welcome back to another episode of Tiger Eye. We've got a great episode for you this week. Max is talking with some coaches and players to tell us more about new positions in the coaching staff this winter. Anthony is taking a closer look at our office staff to learn more about them and all they do. I'm talking to some to get some insight into our recent remote days. But first, some announcements. For the first time ever, we have a Tiger Nation raffle. $20 for 3 tickets. A portion of this money goes to the extracurricular of your choice, from football to band. If you would like a physical copy, then go up to the office to grab those. If not, you can scan the QR code on the screen now, and you will be taken to the website. There will be weekly winners announced on Tuesdays, so make sure to participate. North Carolina's FAFSA Day is a free event that will be held this Saturday at local college campuses to help students complete their FAFSA. So make sure to go if you are needing help to fill it out. Now, let's give it to Max to learn more about some of the changes made to the coaching staff this season.
This year, Ford welcomed 3 new head coaches for our winter sports teams. For our winter track team, this meant Coach Danny Williamson, who used to be assistant coach, would now be the head coach.
I just like helping everybody. I just really want to get the best out of all of my runners, out of all of the athletes, not just runners, but field events as well. I just want to get the best out of them.
Running in the winter can lead to some issues for athletes. Dealing with the cold can provide unique challenges for runners.
I just add a little my flavor to it, just a couple of things, but it's basically the same. I've been here a few years with Coach Ogle, so nothing really changed that much. Just trying to introduce my system and getting them to understand what they need to do with my system and just making them feel comfortable.
Way more layers most of the time, especially during the meets. It can get down to, I think the coldest it got last year was like somewhere in the teens. It was like 19 degrees over at like a North Lincoln meet. It was bad.
Just have a heater, try to have a heater and a tent, and just try to keep them as warm as possible before their event and after their event.
Another new coach this year is Coach Anthony Brown Jr. He's new to our basketball program. He was a coach for our football team this year.
I just challenge them every day to be better than what they were the day before. Really uplift them, because I talk to the players all the time. I want them to know that the hardest critic they need to have is themselves, and then let me critique them to show them what they need to do, the things they need to work on, and be brutally honest with them at times. Love them when they do good and tell them exactly what they need to work on when they do bad.
Coach A.B., who played football and ran track at Lenoir-Rhyne University, puts an emphasis on helping players improve.
So I want to understand the things that make you special are normal things. You just have to do it all the time. You have to really commit. And I wanted to be someone that truly loved what they did. I love being around sports. I love making kids better. And I just wanted to put all of my soul into it, because I feel like that's something that you don't always get.
Along with consistency, connection has been a big part of this year's success for the team.
I'd say it's more of a family this year than it has been. Like, we're more like obviously, you don't have to like everybody on the team, but I feel like we come together when it's the right time to.
I do a lot of work to understand who I'm working with, kind of what the kids like to do. Are they a vocal person? Are they quiet? How do they like to play? So that way I can put them in the best position to be successful and really have confidence. I think a lot of that stems from confidence. If the team believes that you can do it and you believe that you can do it, then usually good things will happen.
I'd say his biggest strength is communication, because he adapts easily, I would say, on the fly.
While Coach Williamson and Coach A.B. are not entirely new to the school, Ford did welcome a new face to the wrestling program this year, Coach Sigmund. The wrestling program is coming off a state championship, so introducing new wrestlers can be vital towards the team's success.
Just catching kids in the hallways, talking to them a little bit, trying to talk them into trying it out. What I like doing is telling kids, come out, give me 2 weeks. If you like it, stay. If you don't have to worry about it. But just trying to get them to open up their mindset and try something new. They basically kind of lead themselves for the most part. The newer kids coming in, a lot of them take them under their wings and kind of help them out and show them the transitions of, like we were talking about earlier, middle school to high school, and just being there and trying to show them their winning traditions and their winning mentality ways.
Coach Sigmund has had experience coaching middle school, high school, and college wrestling teams. This experience can help him to improve all his wrestlers, from veterans to freshmen.
He can help the more experienced kids on more experienced stuff, and also show the complete basic to the freshmen.
Wrestling is a demanding sport, but having devoted teammates can help push the team forward.
Well, I can tell it's important to everyone, so I just keep on pushing for the benefit of the team.
Good luck to all of our winter sports teams, and thank you to their coaches who are instrumental in their success.
Thanks, Max. It's important to spotlight our staff and make sure they are appreciated. Anthony took a trip down the hall this week to get more of an idea as to what a day in the life might look like for our office staff. Anthony?
With over 957 students and 76 staff members here at Fred T. Ford, the amount of administrative oversight needed requires a skilled team at the helm. But Fred T. Ford hasn't always been like this. ISS coordinator Seth Keener has been here since 1997 and has seen a lot of changes.
The population at that time was happened to be, it started growing because we still had the Startown section of the county.
It's a little bit smaller than it was when I first started.
This is my 4th year at the high school. When I started, it was right when, COVID was kind of had a hold on everything. So my first year or so was, I think, very unusual for everybody.
If there was anything that people learned from the COVID-19 pandemic, it was the value of personal flexibility. Lori Spurker, the receptionist here at Fred T. Ford, used this skill when facing the challenges of her job.
You have to be flexible, and you have to be able to juggle and multitask all day long for 8 hours a day, constantly. The phone's ringing, the door's buzzing, teachers are coming in, students are coming in. It's just constant all day long.
For our school nurse, Crystal Morgan, the job can have its own rewards. Getting children the help they need to succeed can be a great feeling.
Seeing students that get their glasses, because they haven't been able to see, and then all of a sudden you get them glasses, you work with them, work with the parent, work with the provider, get them glasses and they can see. That's a great experience.
Although it isn't all easy, restrictions on the type of care that can be provided can put hindrances on the process.
That I don't work under a doctor, because they think that I'm a clinic here and that I can treat them for anything at any time. Can you just give the nurse, go to see the nurse, she'll fix you up, she'll fix your broken leg, or she'll give you an antibiotic, and I can't do that.
Norma Wellman, our office secretary here at Fred T. Ford, keeps the school books balanced and companies on their toes.
I did have a company that kept telling me that we owed them some money, and we did not owe them said money. So I went back and forth with this lady for like 3 months.
Officer Mark Dentel, our school resource officer, conducts a variety of tasks to help keep our schools safe, from helping with buses to even investigations. But such actions are not necessary if one thinks of the consequences.
If everybody knew how the choices and decisions they make can have an impact on the rest of their life, not only would it obviously make things easier for me, but it would make things easier on everybody. We assist with getting buses out. It's policy-wise, we don't assist with other entrances and exits to the schools, not just at this school, but countywide.
Mr. Keener does far more than ISS, however, having coached baseball, football, and even having formed the wrestling program at Jacobs Fork.
I went down to see Miss Bradshaw when she was working at Jacobs Fork and asked her to start a wrestling program. She was all for it. It was great, and they have flourished, and the wrestling program here has flourished beyond my capabilities, that's for sure.
After a day of working on the operation of our school, the office staff at Fred T. Ford like to spend their time either outside or with their family.
I love spending time with my family. My kids do not live around here, so I'm constantly going back and forth between South Carolina and Florida. I have a grandson that lives in South Carolina that just turned a year old. So I'm going there a lot to see him.
Well, we like to hike, we like to kayak, which we haven't been able to do in the couple of years, but we do like to do that. Like to play with my grandkids outside.
A lot of my time is taken supervising baseball officials and softball officials in the area. Outside of that, watching my kids grow up, normal parent stuff.
Thank you to all of the staff who help keep the operation of our school running smoothly. Your work here is greatly appreciated. Now, back to you, Heather.
Thanks, Anthony, and thanks to all of our office workers for making life easier for everyone else in the school. At Ford, we've had 2 remote days recently, one caused by heating problems in the school and another caused by severe storms and flooding in our area. Before COVID, remote days were not an option, and now we're allowed to have up to 5 a school year. But before having a remote day is decided, Assistant Superintendent of Operations Dan Moore has to talk with other members of his cabinet group along with other districts. Once discussed, they can all come to a conclusion as to what school will look like in the near future.
The primary thing is making sure that we keep our students, faculty, and staff safe, while also trying to be consistent and have school on a regular basis.
More than just our school did their learning at home on Tuesday, January 9th. For Mrs. Admerto, this means a full house, putting more tasks on her plate than usual.
The remote days are almost more stressful for me than in-person days because I also have 2 kids. And so if the whole district is remote, it's all like me and my husband and my 2 kids at home, and my daughter is in kindergarten, and so we have to get her set up on Zoom, and I have to get my kid distracted. So I like that it gets rid of us having to make up time, but I'm also, like, there's pros and cons.
Our recent remote days brought different feelings for everyone. For Ella, the availability of work time seemed to outweigh any negatives.
I can do my work at my own pace, and I can go ahead and get it set up for how I need to get it done, and I have that whole day to get it done, and I don't have to worry about doing other things after school because I'm already home, and I'm already prepared for what I need to get turned in.
Already having 2 remote days this year so close together, Mr. Geddes sees the disadvantages to not being in the classroom.
Everybody turns their cameras off, they mute themselves, and you're almost talking to yourself. And that's how I feel. But here, I get the feedback, I can ask questions, I can point, we can draw on the board, we can do whatever. That's the biggest drawback to me.
Not only teachers struggle with online learning, students not being able to look around the classroom makes it scarier to engage for some students.
It's very awkward. Like, the teacher's like the only one talking, and it's like if you have a question, like, you don't want to like kind of ask it, because it's like, what if somebody thinks you're like dumb or something because you're asking this question?
Because I feel like I'm like getting like called out if I say something, but I usually type it in the chat of the Google Meet so I can say something, and the teacher usually answers pretty quick.
Being required to have 185 hours of instruction per year, online learning is a way to meet that quota without having to add days to make up for lost time.
People don't like make-up days because they already have plans for long weekends. So it's not ideal, but I think it is a good option to meet the threshold.
Certain content is more difficult for students to understand if it isn't their strong suit. When asked, over half had a certain subject they felt they struggled with more online than others.
Nearly every single student I had showed up when they were supposed to show up, so attendance wasn't really an issue. It's more so just about delivering the math content. It can be challenging sometimes.
It's a little bit harder to understand whenever you're doing it online than in person.
I can't do math online. That's not my strong suit at all, so probably that, and English can be difficult too.
Well, that's all for this episode. Thanks so much for tuning into this one, and we'll see you the next.